It's so great to have everybody here, especially our friends from the Easton Emergency Squad. We're so pleased and honored to honor you all. And so, if you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And God bless America.
God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Amen. Thank you. Everybody, please be seated. We have a moment of inspiration from our moment of inspiration person.
All right. Thank you, James. I found some words of inspiration specific to EMTs, the emergency squad members. Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. It's a quote from John Wayne, with the comment behind it, EMTs and paramedics have difficult and dangerous jobs. They know the risks, and yet every day they prepare for the challenge, load up their gear, and race out to the next emergency. This is the courage that makes them the real heroes. Another one, what we have done for ourselves alone dies with us. What we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. That's a quote from Albert Pike, who was an American author, poet, orator, lawyer, and jurist, and he lived in the years 1809 to 1891. Yes, being an EMT is personally rewarding, but the good your work provides to your patients, your community, and the world continues long after you've ended your shift. Few careers can allow you to feel good about your work while leaving an immeasurable mark of goodwill on the world. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Barbara. I just want to share a short story before we go with our meal. And so in our daily lives, we rarely get to meet you, thankfully, on a professional basis. But when those occasions come, as they inevitably do, for example, on September 10th, 2020, I was riding my bicycle, coming along 611, road was wet, it had been raining, crossed a railroad track, the diagonal. I had been over that railroad track hundreds of times on that same route, but today, the tires were wet, the rails were wet, and I went down, boom, crashed and burned big time. I was knocked unconscious. I woke up to an emergency responder addressing me and taking me where I needed to go. Recognizing that there was some trauma involved, they made sure I got to the right place, to the St. Luke's Trauma Center, not to any, emergency room. And I got the care that I needed, and I'm fully recovered, but I'm so very grateful for the people who were there that day taking care of me. And so I just want you to digest that while you are helping yourself to lunch. And you guys can go ahead and go first, right up there. Serve yourself. All right, everybody. If you're finishing your dessert, please continue to do so. But we're going to resume with our program honoring the Easton Emergency Responder of the Year. And for that, an announcement and explanation of the program, I'm going to turn it over to Walt House.
So, it's my privilege to be the master of ceremonies for the recognition of the Easton.
I don't think that's on, Walt.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's my pleasure to be able to be the master of ceremonies for this Easton Emergency Squad Person of the Year recognition. A little background. This actually started for our Kiwanis Club to honor a member of the Easton Emergency Squad a year ago. Actually, matter of fact, our first recipient, Ashley Vaughn, is here. She's the director at the Easton Emergency Squad. The president, Buddy Shaw, is here. Member of the board of directors, Sam Law, is here. And we have Forrest Stewart, who's with Lafayette College. What is your position here, Mr. Stewart?
Vice President for Enrollment.
Vice President for Enrollment. Very good, thank you. And then our recipient this year, Rachel Mumford. So that's how it started out. And I don't know if I need to necessarily explain to everybody what the emergency squad does. James, you did a very good rendition of how they work. And I can tell you, I had a situation myself back in 1973. I was also on a motorcycle, and I had a girlfriend on the back with me, and we were coming back down 611, coming south on 611 North from Martin's Creek, when I got hit head on by a 5-ton dump truck. And I flew over the front of the motorcycle, landed 104 feet down, and the girl that I had on the back, she flew over top and landed on top of me. I was out for a while, and one of our police officers happened to come up there because he apparently had overheard a call go out to the Fort Township Police that there was an accident involving several vehicles. There was a station wagon which the dump truck hit first, and then swung into the oncoming lane, and then hit a van that was in front of me that was rolling roof over wheels back towards me, and I went around, and as I come around where the dump truck was starting to go back into the northbound lane, and that's when I got hit head on. So I appreciate the fact that the emergency squad is doing the services that they do. Actually, what I'll do, like I say, since I think most of you know what the emergency squad does, I'll invite Buddy Shaw, the emergency squad president, to come up and recognize the recipient, as well as maybe explain what the selection process is, or what it is that Ashley has done to deserve this. And we'll review it. And then we'll let James come up and actually present the plaque to you. All right, welcome, Buddy.
Thank you very much. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here on a lot of different levels. I've been involved with the squad since I was 14. So if you look at me, you can probably do the math. It's a long time. Almost 12 years now. No. All kidding aside, though, I know probably close to at least a third of the people in here personally, and I really appreciate the service that all you do. All the people I know in here are involved with other things. It's a common thread through almost everyone I know. I'm involved in quite a bit myself. And almost everybody I know that is involved in something is really saturated in it, and also involved in other things. They wear a lot of different hats. So it's very nice to have our organization and one of our members recognized. It's especially nice to be recognized by another service organization, because I just want to give you all kudos and tell you that, you know, we're aware of what you do, and we're appreciative of the fact that you thought enough of us to take the time to do this. So, back to Walt's lead-in. The selection process, frankly, we're still learning a little bit. We just started it last year. What happens is it kind of catches up on us. Next thing you know, it's 2 months away, 3 months away, and then we start to focus a little more. We've made a commitment this time to be a little bit more organized for our own benefit going forward. We had a process that was, I would say, semi-formal. The person that probably would know the most about our members, because she's always involved with them on a regular basis, is Ashley. So, of course, her input is very important. And then the board is the governing part over the squad. But you know, Sam's very saturated. He's retired now, and he spends a lot of time. You would think he was an employee if you didn't know that he was a volunteer. He's there many, many times through the week doing a lot of work. Maybe he does think he's an employee, but we just never pay him. And then we did a survey of our membership for the rank and file to get their input on who they would recommend. I made up like a questionnaire regarding any particular calls, any particular acts, their quality of care, etc. And from that survey and from Ashley's recommendation and actually Sam's recommendation, the board chose Rachel. I know Rachel, I see her, I go in there, I sign checks, none for Sam, but I sign checks to pay bills. There's different problems with the building periodically. There's different grant forms. Sometimes I just stop by to see what's going on a regular basis through the week. So I had met Rachel, I'm familiar with Rachel. To be honest with you, until her name was presented, until I had other people submit why they had suggested and voted for Rachel to be the recipient of this honor, I really didn't realize all that Rachel did. She's actually a quite astonishing person. She's done a lot for the squad. I'm going to read here comments that were prepared regarding Rachel. It's only about 10 pages, so I'm just kidding.
Double spaced.
It's only a few paragraphs. Over the past several years, Easton Emergency Squad has forged a relationship with the students at Lafayette College, enabling them to be lifesavers in their new community. This relationship has allowed students to obtain hands-on emergency medicine alongside Easton Emergency Squad personnel. Over the past few years, Easton Emergency Squad and the community have benefited from more than 40 volunteers from Lafayette College. So since this program became formalized, we were just talking about probably about 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago till now. Our relationship with Lafayette actually goes way back past that. Back when I was a junior squad member, again, suffice to say, quite a few years ago, we had Lafayette College students volunteering at the squad, informal level. I think a lot of them, all race and creeds, had afros, so that kind of gauges you how long ago that was. Because there was an in-style afro that's about, what, 74?
Too young.
He's too young. Okay. Rachel Mumford is a student at Lafayette College. While on campus during her first year, 2021, she attended the annual Lafayette College Involvement Fair, where Easton Emergency Squad was present with ambulance and personnel. The fair, sponsored by Lafayette College, enables students to become active in community in community organizations and college clubs. After seeing the Lafayette College EMS Club display and spending time speaking with representatives, she became intrigued. Rachel then decided to sign up to be able to learn about emergency medicine and obtain that hands-on experience. Well, quite a bit of ways from what you started and signed up for, right? When she started at Lafayette College, she was originally studying biotechnology. But after spending time volunteering and caring for patients in an emergency setting, she decided to change direction and pursue a career in medicine instead. That's quite an accomplishment right there. We need a lot more people in the field, and she'll be a perfect one, I'm sure. She volunteered for about 200 hours before deciding to get her emergency medical technician certification in her home state of Massachusetts during her spring break. Upon returning to college, she had her certification transferred to Pennsylvania. Since becoming a Pennsylvania EMT, she has accumulated an additional 1,000 hours of duty time. Rachel has surpassed many of our volunteers in her knowledge and abilities to provide care for patients. She's gone from being an extra person on the ambulance to being the primary care provider. In her freshman year, she was nominated and elected as president of Lafayette EMS Club. She's been instrumental in managing the emergency medical training for all Lafayette EMS Club students and encouraging students to volunteer at Easton Emergency Squad. She's believed to be a true asset to our organization, and we look forward to her continued involvement. It's hard to really fully say in a few paragraphs or a few words, because in speaking to the people that recommended her and suggested her as the recipient, there's many times where we would have had time or had difficulty even getting an ambulance up to be on duty. And Rachel came through many times and volunteered her service, where put us in a position where we could provide service where we wouldn't have been able to, or we would actually have to call in another organization to assist us. As you all know, in this day and age, to get anybody to volunteer is a really difficult thing. And to get somebody to jump in both feet forward, like she's done, is really, truly remarkable. Right up to crossing the conversation with the table conversation. But this summer, she stayed here. She stayed local in Easton. She has other things that she's doing. She's immersed in a lot of activities. But she continued to volunteer for this squad and to help us during the summer, which of course for any place is one of your worst times with vacations and so forth. So I have to say, I originally, you look at the population and the people of the squad, and there's people that have been there for many years, and people that all come together as a team to keep our organization functioning. But she truly has been a standout. Like I said, I was maybe a little skeptical because I really didn't know her. I didn't know all that she did. But she is very deserving of the award, and I am proud to be able to be here to present it to her with the Kiwanis Club. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Rachel, will you join us up here, please? So, I'll just read this off. In recognition of outstanding service as the Emergency Squad Member of the Year 2022, this award is presented to Rachel Mumford, Easton Emergency Squad, presented by the Kiwanis Club of Easton, in recognition of and in appreciation of outstanding year public service in which Rachel Mumford exemplified the professionalism of the Easton Emergency Squad and the entire domestic profession. learn some more about you, and it's absolutely amazing to me that you recognize something that is so meaningful and you just grabbed it with everything you have. And that you're excelling in this profession, that you're being recognized for your efforts, and that your future aspirations are so profound and meaningful. Would you like to say a few words about yourself and about that?
Sure. Thank you. It's an honor to receive this. I want to recognize the Kiwanis Club for all the service projects that they do. It's really awesome. And I also wanted to just say that Easton has become a second home to me as I've been here for the past 2 years. And especially Easton Emergency Squad has helped me really become a lot more connected to the community, which has been great. And everyone there has been like a family to me. So I want to thank Ashley for helping me rebuild the Lafayette EMS Club. And I want to thank John and Brian for taking me on my first 911 calls, and Grandpa Sam, who taught me how to use jumper cables and how to read letters, squad vehicle, and all sorts of other things. It's really amazing that everyone there has taken time out of what they already have to do to teach students, and I'm so glad to have had this opportunity.
When a person of your obvious interest, skill, and enthusiasm steps forward, it makes it easier for people to mentor and support you because they see such a wonderful opportunity in allowing someone to achieve their goals. So congratulations, and thank you so much for everything you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Congratulations from me, Rachel. For anybody that didn't get dessert, if you still want it, there's also some hot beverages back there in the garage.
So I just want to make clear a couple of things. So you guys know I'm an avid motorcycle rider, right? It may have been interpreted that the crash that I had in 2020 was on my motorcycle. No, it was my bicycle. So I have crashed my motorcycle before a long time, and I was under extraordinary care then too when I broke my leg. But I just want to say a couple of things about Walt alluded to it and talked, but I want to say a little bit more about the emergency squad recognition, member recognition of the year. So this is the second time we've done it. Ashley was the first recipient, and now we have Rachel. So we have done, as a club, the police officer of the year for 42 years. And then maybe it's been 28 years or so for the firefighter of the year award. Something like that. And the club leadership back then, past President Janet and immediate past President Neil, all kind of collaborated together with some of our other members to recognize that we had a void in recognizing first responders, and that the EMS was missing from this equation. And so we got together with the leadership and decided that this was important for us to do, to recognize those people who are right on the scene, right there first, giving the quality medical care that's needed to save lives, to prevent, further aggravation of a medical situation. The police are there, they're usually managing the traffic or the accident scene, and the firefighters are there, and I do not want to minimize their care towards people at all, but this was to bring to the forefront the care that you all provide to our community, and that we are so grateful that you are there to help us in our time of greatest need. So thank you for that, and I'm so proud of our club that we have stepped into this plate to provide that recognition, because you guys are so valuable.